Let's get to some breaking hurricane news. The record books, you can lock in some new information. The National Hurricane Center has officially confirmed Hurricane Melissa, now one of the most powerful storms to ever haunt the Atlantic. On October 28, 2025, a Category 5 monster set its sights on Jamaica, and when it slammed into New Hope, it still had sustained winds 185 miles per hour, tying the record for strongest Atlantic landfall. That is across the period of record. And this is the stat that sends chills on through. Melissa, as it was approaching the coastline, we always talk about dropsons. NOAA hurricane hunters fly into the storm. They release those dropsons, collecting data until they hit the water, kind of like the opposite of a weather balloon. That dropson recorded a gust of 252 miles per hour. That's like 50 miles per hour faster than the cars at Daytona. It's the highest wind speed ever recorded in a tropical system globally. It's not just a hurricane record. It's one of the highest wind gusts ever measured on this planet. For Jamaica, the impacts were catastrophic. Melissa has officially surpassed 1988's Hurricane Gilbert to become the most intense storm to ever strike the island. With a central pressure of 892 millibars, it stands as the third strongest Atlantic hurricane on record, measured by pressure. Melissa wasn't just a storm. It was a 250-mile-per-hour reminder of the sometimes unfathomable power of nature. So to talk more about the report from the National Hurricane Center today, let's bring in Fox Weather hurricane specialist Bryan Norcross. Bryan, we knew that by effectively every measure, this was a top 5 or a top storm all time. The damage, $8.8 billion in Jamaica. That's 4 times Gilbert. GDP of Jamaica is $24 billion. It's like a third of the nation's GDP in damage from this devastating hurricane.
Yeah, and about a quarter of the population of Jamaica lives in that western third of the country. So you can just imagine, you know, in some sense, the country was lucky that this did not get the central or eastern part of the country, because that's where more people live. But it was completely devastating to that southwestern corner and also to the Montego Bay area. Just to give you some perspective on these numbers, the 190 miles per hour Melissa was just offshore. So it began to weaken just slightly as those winds interacted with the high terrain on the island. And that tied it with Hurricane Allen. Now, Hurricane Allen from 1980 has not been reanalyzed. So all of data collected in 1980 on Allen and up to this point is in the record book at 190 miles per hour has a question mark on it, even though that was a dropson that came out of the aircraft. But back then we didn't have GPS dropsons, so you didn't have as accurate a measurement. So they're working on the 70s and 80s storms, and we'll see. So put a question mark on 190 for Allen. The 185 and Labor Day hurricane is just based on the pressure number. Pressure number is given to be accurate at 892, and then they do some math to get the 185. So that one wasn't measured. So these next two in line here have some question marks on exactly how authentic they are, although the 1935 storm was reanalyzed. So here you see the tracks on these various storms that have been up in that range, that 185 at landfall. Here's Melissa, the Labor Day hurricane that hit Long Key. Long Key is just north of Marathon. It's the kind of northeasternmost middle key. The keys being divided into the upper keys, middle keys, and lower keys. So that's Long Key. And then, of course, we remember Dorian that just parked over Great Abaco in the Bahamas. By the way, Allen was measured up here in the northwestern Caribbean. That's where it was measured with a 190-mile-an-hour wind, so not terribly far from Jamaica. There's that pressure you mentioned, 892, and Melissa tied with the Labor Day hurricane, which was actually measured on a barometer on a boat, actually on land. That's the only one of these measured on land. The rest of them all measured over the water. There's that spectacular Wilma number when it had that pinhole eye in 2005. There's the track on Melissa. So it was a really if you were around for it, and of course we all were, this whole stalling over here and being pretty weak. But even in this area right in here, they already were putting out forecasts for an extremely strong landfall up into Category 5 and then, or 4, and then into eventually Category 5. So the forecasts were spectacularly good, and they're mostly spectacularly good because of the Google DeepMind model. By this time in the season, the Hurricane Center forecasters had confidence in that. It was just on the Category 5 landfall for way early, much earlier than we normally have seen, in fact, maybe ever seen in the past. And the Hurricane Center went with that forecast, and they made outstanding forecasts. I mean, this storm was one of the best forecast hurricanes in history. There's that gust you mentioned. Now, that wasn't at the surface. That was a little bit aloft. But when you think about all those mountains, that very strong wind a little bit aloft ran into those mountains. So all those trees that were debarked and so forth that we saw, this is the kind of wind that contributed to that. And there you see it making landfall just to the west of Black River. So the onshore flow was in the vicinity of Black River, with the Hurricane Center estimating the storm surge there in the 11 to 15 foot range, and just went through Black River. New Hope being just to the left of that there on the map. There was Black River, Jamaica before Hurricane Melissa, and there it is after, obviously completely inundated with water there from the Caribbean being pushed in by that right side of Melissa's eye wall. So I guess it's good, Ian, that we have confirmation, Hurricane Center going through all the data, confirming what's confirmable. Some things we just can't know because we don't have the storm surge measurement facilities in Jamaica, and especially in Cuba and in the part of the Bahamas that were hit. So we're missing some data we would get if the U.S. were involved, but we have pretty good confidence that we know what happened there in Jamaica from the satellite and the other instruments that you have available to us these days.
Yeah, Bryan, and as you show us those pictures, I don't think there was a lot of doubt. It was this is very academic to see where exactly the margin was there. We knew it was top end. How does the NHC even go about it? I asked because it's like when you're talking about an all-time record, 252 miles per hour. How do you even quality control a value that high? How do they even go about this?
Well, these days we just have so much more data now because of the GPS aspect of the dropzone. So the dropzone is this instrument package that comes out of the airplane, probably in this case about 7,000 or 8,000 feet, and then it drops down to the surface. This one happened to go right in the eye wall. So sometimes they're actually trying these days to drop it in the eye wall because of the GPS, that they measure it very accurately. So they just go back and examine the data to be sure that the data stream was solid, that there wasn't some sort of interruption in the data. But because of the GPS measurements, we know what the plus and minus is on that because of all the scientific testing, and we drop a lot of dropzones, and a lot of research has been done on it. So it gives them confidence to say, yes, there was no interruption of the data. Everything looks right here, as we know that it was in the eye wall, and so it all makes sense. So we're going to verify that data.
Yeah, Bryan, it's amazing in a technical sense, but just devastating when we see the results of that storm, as you were showing us with some of those satellite pictures. That's our hurricane specialist, Bryan Norcross. Bryan, 96 days until the hurricane season. We'll see you soon. Thank you.